A fisherman turned shepherd. In John's gospel today, we have a fisherman, Peter. He spent his entire life fishing with his best buddies, the disciples. Loved to fish. It was his livelihood. Loves his boat, his nets, his tackle, and yeah, he loved fishing with the disciples. It was his whole life. It's probably all he really knew. In our gospel today, Jesus appears to the disciples after eating breakfast. He says to Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? In fact, he asks Peter 3 times, do you love me? And each time Peter responds, yes. Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Each time Peter answered yes, Jesus said, well then, tend my lambs, shepherd my sheep, tend my sheep. Jesus was asking Peter to put aside what he loved most, to leave the love of his life behind, the fish, the nets, the tackle, and to dedicate his life to the service of others. And just like Peter, you and I are called to continue in that ministry by humble service to others, to continue on in the ministry of Jesus. We are called to feed his people, to shepherd his people. And we're chosen not because we're perfect, not because we're holy. We're chosen because Jesus has faith in us. He calls us to do our best, to share the best that we have with others, to share the best of our lives with others. I think it's interesting that as babies, we're all dependent on others for food, for shelter, clothing, even health. Then as we grow and mature, we become less dependent, independent, more self-sufficient. But then again, in old age, we oftentimes have to rely on others for help. Many find it difficult to let go of the independence that they once had. But that's the circle of life. Letting go and accepting help is only possible when we trust in God. Old age comes from God and leads to God. We are all called to love God by feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, and caring for the elderly. We are called to walk with each other, serve one another, and to act with justice. And in these times, we're presented with a great opportunity to do that. Whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto